On Sunday, we saw the conclusion of the round robin of the 2026 Men's Olympic Hockey Tournament. So in this video, we're going to recap those games and then talk about the bracket going forward. First up, we had Czechia taking on the Swiss, and this was a pretty important game for these teams as they went into this game battling for the second and third spots in the group. Late in the first, it was Chlapik putting up the Czechs by one off a really nice feed from Marty Necas on the 2-on-1. Then the next goal didn't come till late in the second. It was Josi off the rush banking one in off the defender's leg. Then just a couple minutes later, it's Timo Meier on the power play putting the Swiss up 2-1. Czechia tied the game. It was Radik Šimik, the former San Jose Shark, collecting the puck and firing it into the net. Suter found the puck in the slot, fired it home to make it 3-2 in favor of the Swiss. With just 3.5 minutes left, Czechia scored on the power play to tie the game at 3. However, it was reversed for goaltender interference. And this was an absolutely ridiculous call in my opinion. Pastrnak was sitting outside of the crease. The goalie comes out, makes contact with him, and somehow that counts as goalie interference. Maybe that's how it's always called for IIHF tournaments, but ultimately it was really confusing to me. I feel like that should be a goal 10 times out of 10. However, the puck don't lie, and it was Marty Necas burying the one-time feed from Hronek just a minute later to tie it up and force overtime. Despite blowing the lead twice, the Swiss do recover, and it was Dean Kukin, the former Blue Jackets defenseman, firing one short side over the blocker of Dostal to secure the victory. Then we had France and Canada, and this was a blowout as expected, 10-2 in favor of Canada. Not going to go through every goal, but we had the game-winning goal with just 4 seconds left in the first period. It was Mark Stone with a short-handed breakaway. Doing Mark Stone things in the neutral zone, he picked off a errant pass, went back the other way, and buried it. We also saw a penalty shot for Macklin Celebrani, and he got his first of 2 goals in the game. McDavid had a beautiful breakaway backhand goal just 19 seconds into the third period. France was playing a bit dirty. Someone took a run at McKinnon when he was down, and it was a pretty blatant headshot. So Tom Wilson took exception and ended up getting into a fight. I get you want to stick up for your teammates, but this was a pretty poor decision from him in a 10-2 game with 6 minutes left in the third period. Luckily enough, he did not get any supplemental discipline, but that's just a risk that you probably should not take. So Canada goes 3-0, secures the number 1 seed. McDavid sets a single tournament record with NHL players for points with 9, and Crosby with 15 points is now the all-time leader. Next up, we have Latvia taking on Denmark, and this ended up being a pretty tight game despite a hot start from Denmark. After a terrible turnover from Balinskis, it was Olsen going net front and deflecting home the opening goal. Agard made it 2-0 with a power play marker just 5 minutes into the game. And the first period finished 3-0 after Nick Ehlers puts home a rebound. Latvia did get on the board with 17 seconds left. In the period, it was a shot from the point by Zeal and a double screen out front, no chance for Anderson there. We saw Traumax go backdoor and bury the feed from Zeal to make it 3-2 midway through the second. But ultimately, Denmark holds on and they get the empty netter to make it 4-2, and that would be the final score. And to conclude the round robin, we had the Germans taking on the States. Pretty tight game, but Werenski opened the scoring with just 9 seconds left in the first period with a great shot. Hughes sends it on net, deflects off Matthews, and trickles in on the power play to make it 2-0. And then kind of a weird one, Faber gets the puck at the point, just floats one on, and it looks like the German goaltender just misread it. It ended up deflecting off of his glove and into the net to make it 3-0. And then Thompson, early in the third period, fires a one-timer home, and this game was out of reach. Austin Matthews goes net front with a nice tip on the Sanderson shot pass. Stützle got the Germans on the board halfway through the third, but ultimately not enough. 5-1 for the States, and they end up clinching that number 2 seed. So we now have the bracket here. You've got Canada first, US second, Slovakia third, Finland number 4. Canada plays the winner of Czechia-Denmark. The States will take on either Sweden or Latvia. The Slovaks take on the winner of Germany-France. And the Finns take on the winner of Switzerland and Italy. So tomorrow we finally get those elimination games. It's going to be a very exciting morning of hockey here. Also, I kind of feel obligated to bring up a unfortunate tragedy. It's a shooting at a hockey rink in Rhode Island. A man ended up murdering his children and his wife, and then himself in the stands at a hockey rink during a youth game. just an absolutely sickening thing. You know, my stomach dropped when I read that headline, and there's a video, and it's really sad stuff. So I just wanted to say, you know, my thoughts are with the family and anyone else who was affected by that. And, you know, the gun violence, it just continues to happen, especially in America, and it's really sad. So hopefully, you know, we start to see less and less of that. But ultimately, you know, I just wanted to bring it up and say that. So ending on a bit of a somber note here, but, you know, thank you guys for watching, and tomorrow there's going to be some fun games to watch, so definitely make sure to check in on those if you can, and I'll see you in the next one.